book lovers and screen addicts. Welcome to episode 3 of Page to Screen and In Between.
I'm Staci, and I am here with my literary partner in crime, Renee. We've been friends through thick and thin for over 20 years.
I know, it's just so fascinating how we reconnected. And I would say doing this, although it's only our third episode, we are just getting stronger than ever. We're catching and remembering all the reasons why we loved each other and why we still
Mhm.
love each other. And so that kind of segues into we're a lot older than when we first met. Okay, wait, maybe not a lot. We're gonna just say we met when we were kids, like
Yeah,
I think maybe 20 years ago, something like
yeah,
that.
20 years ago. Babies,
Yeah,
just babies.
babies. We're
Now
just
we're
gonna
very mature, wise women. Yeah.
That's right. So let's talk about, we always want to start with what's fascinating us right now. It could be in the entertainment world, the fashion world. Last week it was the health world.
Mhm. It
And
might be, yeah, and it might be something new. It might be that's not new. But before we do that, I want to just first gush a little on my partner, Renee. You amaze me on your skills with producing this podcast. I every single email I get, every single thing that I see on that you've posted and I've been able to repost and that kind of thing. You are amazing, and I think it does. Just to say you don't have to stop learning. You don't have to stop doing things just because we are getting older. You don't have to stop. And you are so amazing. So I just want to
I was
gush.
going to say, in response to that, real quickly, because I think this will segue into the next segment, or into who we're fascinated with right now, is I know I am like a techno nobody. I know nothing about technology. I have had to learn from the ground up. And you have not seen, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got to go get my hair colored in a couple of hours. And you do not see all the gray hairs from just this week figuring it all out. But you know what? Like you said, I'm so glad I am exercising my brain and
Yeah,
forcing myself to learn what maybe seems super basic to people who understand technology or who can grab a telephone and figure it all, or cell phones and figure it all out. But you
yeah.
know what? That doesn't mean we're done. It
No,
doesn't mean we're done. I
no,
think
no.
about Robert Mondavi didn't start his, I think he was 61 when he started making wine. And
Mm.
then I want to talk about my girl. I am fascinated with her, Miss Lee Ann Morgan.
Oh, I love her. I love
Love,
her.
love, love, love her. Oh my gosh. So
Yes,
tell
I
me what
was.
you know about her. Like,
Well,
tell me
I
why, because
watched. Go
it's
ahead.
odd that we love the same person and we've never talked about her until this show.
Oh my gosh. So I watched her on her special, her Netflix comedy stand up.
Yes.
Um, sh- every single thing she said, I was like, me, that's me, that's me. I mean, when she talks about the 80s and smoking at college and drinking, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, she is so hilarious. And when she talks about her mother and father, I mean, she just I can relate to her. She is so funny and just great. I love her. Yeah.
And I love when she was like, I was cute back then. I
So
was so
cute.
cute. And I'm thinking, why did we not realize how cute we were back then?
I
Because
yeah,
of course we were. We were
yeah,
adorable. It was the 80s, the big hair. I mean, I
the big
think
hair.
my hair hit heaven. I'm just pretty sure. What is
Yeah,
it? The higher the hair, the closer to Jesus. I'm
yes,
pretty sure. I mean, I
yes,
grew up in the South. I mean, and but then I watched her Netflix series,
yes,
and it was
binge.
16 episodes, like 20 minutes a piece. Highly recommend because, again, okay, now neither one of us are divorced. We're married to
Right,
our longtime husbands, well
right,
over, 30 plus years. And she's not either, in her real life, she's still
right,
married to the same man. Um, However, I do love that, she's this woman who in the series, she's getting divorced because, her jerk husband has cheated on her with his
right.
dentist. I mean, it was just, even that is hysterical. Like, how, I mean, who would ever be attracted to a dentist? Who knows?
Yeah, I
You
don't know.
know?
Yeah.
And so, oh gosh, I probably just stepped on somebody's toes. I'm sure dentists are lovely, but it's
I'm
somebody
sure
with
they're lovely,
fingers
but
in their
not
mouth.
in the way that they portrayed how they met. Was he,
Yes.
he went in for several visit procedure. I'm sorry if that's an attraction, that's a little bit off, but maybe it does happen. Yeah,
I mean, maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's the worst, scariest place in the world.
yeah,
Not
me
not
too.
my friend.
Yeah,
I'm always when I'm leaving, hope I don't see you again for a while.
yeah.
Bye.
Well,
So
I'm one that gets nitrous for my cleanings.
okay, so yeah,
so so
I'm
so you
feeling your
can,
sister.
I'm like, give me the gas.
Yeah,
For my
let's just
cleaning.
make
So
this easy.
yeah, yeah. So
But okay, so she's left alone and she's there trying to reconnect. She's got adult children. She's a grandmother, getting ready to be a grandmother times two.
yes.
And she's just like, even when she starts dating, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that would be me. And the sister has to get her on some sort of dating app. And I'm
Oh yeah.
thinking, no way. I
I
just
did
so
not.
glad I don't have to do that. But
Yeah.
just how they don't pull any punches. And she's just so funny. But her mama and daddy are
Oh, I
so
love
ditty.
them.
They are the best. They are so of their generation, unapologetically so,
Yes.
unapologetically very Southern white Baptist, and
Yes.
making fun of that without making it ugly and nasty.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
funny because it's so spot on. It is
Yes.
so spot on.
It is. It is. The scenes in the church. The one friend or
Oh, the
friend,
busybody.
the business who's
Yes.
a widow, but she, and the way she says stuff as if, well, we're praying for you. Oh my gosh, like really gossiping via prayer
Using
requests.
prayer requests for gossip.
Yes. Oh
How
my
spot on
gosh.
is that? I mean,
Oh
sorry,
my.
guilty.
Yes.
Sorry. I'm going to totally
Oh,
admit it. Guilty, guilty.
yes. I'm like,
And
do tell what you're going to talk about, what you're going to pray
what,
about,
how are you praying for her? What do you know? How horrible
That's
for her. Oh my God.
oh my gosh, it's so funny. It is definitely worth a watch. And it's not it's not deep. It's not this deep thing. I mean, there's some moments that are pretty profound and pretty deep as far as like when she's trying to get ready to have sex for the first time with her new boyfriend, and she is like doing the
The
pelvic
Kegels.
floor. Yeah, the pelvic floor exercises. And she's like, I'm doing right now, doing right now, doing right now, doing right now. And I'm just like, oh, it's just so funny to if you're, our age and
Yeah, things just aren't working the same. They just aren't
yes,
working the same.
yes. It's
Mm-mm.
so funny. Yes.
Mm-mm.
I love her. And
Well,
I
and I
love
think about going back to the piece about the church, and I don't know if you remember this moment, but you and I, we did a lot of Bible studies together, and we were looking back probably pretty obnoxious. I mean, because we were funny, or we certainly thought we were. I have no idea if anyone else thought we were, but we were
we thought we
fun
were.
and funny and didn't, yeah, and everybody wanted to be our friends. I'm sure they did, or so we thought.
Yeah.
And so then one of our pastors opened, remember, he did a church plant down where I was originally from in North Florida. And so you and I went down and we
Oh
were going to support, remember? And he had brought one of the ladies, not going to say her name, from the Bible studies that we were always in. And do you remember what she said when she saw us walk into the church together?
Something like my worst nightmare just
Oh my
occurred.
God, they come together. They even travel together.
Yes, and this is my worst nightmare or something
Yes,
like that. And
here
we
they
were like,
are. I thought I got away from you two.
hi, we're here.
Hello. So maybe we're a little more of the friend than the Leanne character. Not,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it does make you look at yourself and
Yeah.
go,
Which one
ooh,
am I? Yeah.
yeah, which one? Maybe I think we're all a little piece of all of them. I think
Yeah.
even the sister who has tried to maintain her wild ways, even in her 50s, I'm sure.
Right.
And she's the older sister. No, she's the baby
She's the
sister.
younger sister.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
younger sister. But and so I do love the show. So I
Me
just
too.
wanted to kind of maybe wrap this little piece of our segment up by saying, you know, the big thing about Leanne, she's this sensation, and all of the news articles, all of the conversation around her is that she has finally had her break and has hit it in her. She's 60, I think now, 61, and it's like it's taking her, and they're all talking about she's a new sensation, and
Yeah.
here she's been married with kids and starting stand up, and here she is now hitting it big. So
Yes.
it's never too late. I'm
No.
so inspired by her and moved by her, and I think I just read they've renewed the second, given her a
Oh,
second season of
good.
the
Oh,
show.
good.
So
Yeah.
how exciting for all of us to just continue and be excited, and it's never too late. If
It
anything
isn't.
else, it's never too late. And here we are
Yes.
talking about books being translated into movies, page to screen. And for all of our listeners and viewers, one thing Staci and I try to do so that we're not just all over the map is meet on our off weeks and discuss how we're going to talk about things, the way we're going to go into it. And we were like, there's no segue into this one.
No.
So this is a totally, so
The partner in
this is,
crime. The
yeah,
partner in literary crime.
partners in crime. There we
Yeah, it's a
go.
crime. It's a crime.
Crime,
It's a
crime,
crime
and we just
series.
come in pairs, yes, and, you know, why we're here, the beautiful, messy, controversial moments when our favorite books are translated to screen. That's why we're here, is to discuss that.
Yes. So again, whether it's your faithful adaptation that makes your bookish heart sing or wild imagining that has you throwing popcorn at the TV, we're going to explore it all, the good, the bad, everything in between. And no opinion is wrong or right. So this is a no judgment zone.
Yep, and we may or may not agree on parts of the book or how it translates. Consider Staci and Renee, your literary besties, who are unafraid to disagree with each other and you, maybe
Yes.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna celebrate what works.
okay.
We're gonna dissect it a little bit, maybe change a few minds along the way, inspire you to pick up a book or inspire you to watch something. So
Yeah. So grab your coffee, your tea, whatever is your fuel of choice, and let's dig in. Let's talk about The Keeper of Lost Causes.
yes, yay,
Yes. And then
love
the
it.
screen adaptation, which was a Netflix series, and that was Department Q.
Yes,
So I'm going to read a quick blurb so that we're all on the same page.
good.
So Karl Mark used to be one of Denmark's best homicide detectives. Then a hail of bullets destroyed the lives of two fellow cops, and Karl, who did not draw his weapon, blames himself. So a promotion is the last thing he expects, but Department Q is a department of one, and Karl's got only a sack of cold cases for company. His colleagues snicker, but Karl may have the last laugh because one file keeps nagging at him. A liberal politician vanished 5 years earlier and is presumed dead, but she isn't dead yet.
Mm,
So, yes, we are going to discuss. This is the first of a 10-book series. The Department Q is the first on Netflix. It's the first book in an
yes.
8-book series.
Okay.
And we're just going to discuss just that first book, which is
Okay.
really, the origin story.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, let's dig in. What'd you
Okay.
think?
So yes, so we watched, my husband and I watched Department Q. Oh, gosh, I wouldn't say we binge watched it, but we probably did 2 episodes at a time.
Mhm.
Um, and got through it very quickly. And then when you and I were discussing, which ones we were going to do, and you said it was from a book, I was like, yay, because I mean, I had just watched it, because I mean, who does not love Matthew Good? I mean,
Right,
and
right.
I fell in love with him in Downton Abbey, when he played the husband, the new husband, of Mary, and I just love him. He's
Oh,
just, oh yes, and
he's
this character is, yeah. So I was so excited to read the book, just to see, yeah,
so
and
this is the first time, for not the first time, but this is one of those times when I have discovered if you watch the screen version first and then go to the book, usually it fills in a lot of the missing pieces if it's a very faithful adaptation. And so the book becomes this rich, sort of textured version of what you've already seen. However, I feel like they did a lot of changes. First of all, okay, Carl has the same name.
Yeah.
They moved it to England. They took it away from Denmark, moved it into England. Merritt, who is the kidnapped victim, is a prosecuting attorney in the
Yeah.
Department Q, but she's a liberal politician in the books. Her name is wait, let me think about it. Moreda. That's how you say her name,
Yeah.
Moreda, not
Okay.
Merritt. And her the entire way her brother Uf, Uf,
Oof.
Ufo, Ufa,
Okay.
Ufa,
Okay.
Ufa
Ufa.
is how you say his name, Ufa.
Okay.
The, the car accident versus the beating is a huge difference in the two.
Yes, because the captors. So the whole motive.
Yes.
What did I wrote down? The motive seems very irrational to me in the book.
Hmm.
She was a small child. She and the accident was not her fault. And I understand, they're crazy, right? Like the captors are crazy. So there's no rationale. But this was a stretch. Like, how do you blame a small child um, for
For
something
fighting for basically fighting with her brother in the back
in the
seat.
back seat?
How many times have we,
Right.
as parents, friends, siblings, it's part of our job as we're driving anywhere is to
Exactly.
shut the kids up because they're out of control in the back. And I also feel like in the book, the way the boy that survived, it was also very random how he went to the boys' home,
Yes.
how he it
There
was
was
just all
there
very
wasn't a
random.
connection. There wasn't a good what connect the dots.
Right.
However, in the series, incredible how they connected the dots because
Yeah.
she was older, um, had there like had a lot
She had
of
a past.
she had a past.
Mhm.
She caused in their head a lot of the trauma in their family, in the captor's family,
Right.
and then the captor had been the one. Um,
Because I think the brother dies and they blame her,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she's, part of the reason that he did die. Um, and so
Did
anyway,
he
I
commit
feel like,
suicide or do they kill him? Does somebody kill him? I can't remember in the series.
gosh, I think
Something happens, and then
no,
that.
he was leaving with her and somehow there was an accident and he was killed. Was
Okay,
there but remember he was going to leave with her.
yeah,
Remember they were going to
that was the
leave.
plan. Yeah, and then he fell off the ferry, or he
Yeah, he
did.
fell out the
He
yeah,
fell off the ferry.
yeah.
But then the brother, you know, went into this psycho home. It wasn't a like a home for boys. I mean, he was
Well,
a
because he was
psychopath.
already psycho, like it was
Yes,
part of his DNA. He was
yes,
just a very troubled kid. Because remember,
yes.
he went to the home and beat the living Nuha
Almost
out of
killed him. Yeah,
Ufa with the baseball bat.
yes.
And the brother, she comes home and they blame him. Remember the necklace and that she
Oh
came
yeah,
back for the funeral to get her necklace back because that had been
yes,
her mom's. Like there was such a connection
yes.
in the screen. And okay, so then I, like you said, I went back and I looked to see when the book was actually written versus, because the screen adaptation is recent, like
Right.
2024.
Okay.
The book was written in 2007, so not that long ago. I mean,
No.
still out of technology. um, and so I thought, okay, well, maybe. And then I started thinking about, okay, now I'm putting my author hat on.
Yeah.
The car accident in general and is a very overused plot device.
Right.
It is to the point where if I had ever turned in a book to my editor with a car accident that had killed the parents or a kid
Or
or
a
a
sister. Yeah.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
it would come back so fast, and my editor would say, or any of my editors would say, yeah, rethink that. That's not going to work. We aren't going
Right.
to do that. It's the same thing as opening something in a carriage or a plane. And my friend Winnie, who writes Amish fiction, whole different conversation about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, who writes Amish fiction calls it the buggy accident. They
Right.
kill off the parents or somebody in a buggy accident, which is the
Mhm.
same thing as a car accident, plane crash. So this was his first book. This is Danish, so he's Danish. He's a Denmark resident. So I don't know if maybe. And then I thought, well, if he had written it in the 80s or 90s, a car accident, that was kind of before it became overused. But by 2007, it was pretty overused.
Yeah.
And then he did a lot of what I call plotting gymnastics to make it work.
Right.
And it worked to a certain extent. And I also felt like the scenes with her,
In
the
the chamber.
in the chamber in the book were almost gratuitous. They were so over the top in terms
Yes.
of gore. I felt like at some points I was reading a horror book as opposed to a thriller or a
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah.
And what is it? The girl with the tattoo, red tattoo or something like that is also
Dragon tattoo, I
the
think.
dragon tattoo.
Yeah.
I think that's another Scandinavian. I can't remember. I don't think it's Danish, but another one where it's very graphic. So I don't know if it's cultural,
It
like
might.
that's,
Yeah.
or if it's me being, I do not know. I don't mind a dark background. I don't mind a dark story, but I also don't need to see it on the page. Even a
Right.
World War II book, I don't need to see the torture over and over and over again on the page like I have imagination. I
Understand that it
can
was
get there.
there. Yeah. Right.
It's like
Right.
sex scenes in romance. Don't need them to be
Exactly.
graphic because I've been married. I kind of know what happens in there. Do not
Right.
need it to be over and over and overly done. And
Yeah.
so that's me as a consumer. So I'm taking off the writer hat and just talking about it as a reader. That kind of bothered me in the book.
Okay.
Um, and
Yeah.
then Carl felt a little one dimensional. What did you think of Carl in the book?
Um, well, he looked at every single woman as an object of lust. I feel like.
Or not, or if they weren't an
Or
object
they
of
weren't.
lust,
Yeah,
then
it
they
was
were
all.
dismissed.
Yes, they were dismissed. He was always looking at their, their lips or their teeth or their, and then even the psychologist, he just made the appointment so he could have her. I feel, and I don't know this author, so I can say it felt a little lazy. It
Yeah.
felt well, he didn't want to have to work for development, where the screenplay or the script for there was a lot of work in like the relationship with the psychologist and him. There was a
The
lot of
tension
the
between them?
tension, but yet I never got a lustful intention of him.
Mm-mm,
He was mandated, which in the book he was not.
mm-mm.
He was
Which why
mandated.
wasn't he?
Why?
Because this is 2007.
Right. So I love that he was mandated because that
Mhm.
puts him in. But in the book, he did it to get a date with her, which
Right.
seems so
Icky.
shallow, and
Little
it
icky.
just yeah, it made him so much more shallow than in
Mhm.
the series. Because in the series, I can see something's mandated, and she's trying to force him to talk about his accident. Then there's a whole different motive in his character, as
Mhm.
opposed to, I just want to date with you.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what you want to hear so that you'll go out with me. That seemed so
Mhm.
lazy to me. Just like, that's not, so I don't know. I loved that in the whenever I would see that it was going to be a session with them, I always looked forward to it because she was so quick. She was
Mhm.
so quick to get right to the, and then
And
she
she recognized his ploys. Like she
yes,
did not let
yes,
him get away with it. And in the book, she was similar in terms of she wasn't playing up to his nonsense.
right. Right.
But there was sort of like he even in the book, he goes there under the guise of not sleeping and wanting to sort of deal with the
The
shooting. And I
trauma
feel like in the book, he's not, he doesn't seem as affected by being shot or even the guilt
or his friends
or,
dying and being
and the
paralyzed.
friend is, yeah, in the book, it was way worse. The friend was absolutely wants to die. He's
Right.
paralyzed. He can barely move. He can barely eat. And he asks Carl to, end his misery.
Mhm.
And Carl's like, well, I can't. And I don't get even a sense that Carl is a lover of life, but just that it like, why is it wrong? Like, give me more in
Yes.
Carl's head. Like, even, give me more understanding with he and the stepson. Why is the stepson choosing him when he's so not a nice guy? And then
That's
the
not even
wife,
talked about. Yeah.
at least in the series, the wife is she a flight attendant, if I
Yeah.
remember? And so she's
Yeah.
just not home. But
Right.
in again, another betrayal of a woman, the
Right.
ex-wife is very shallow, she's very needy, she's very
Mhm.
manipulative,
Yep.
and it's like poor Carl, like he's surrounded by all these dimwits and he's like the smartest guy in the room always.
Right.
And I remember when I was I don't remember if it was a pastor or a motivational speaker, but he said something that has always resonated with me, not only as a person, but as a writer,
Hmm.
is that if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
Because really, you should never be the
Surround
smartest person.
yourself
And
with
yeah,
people.
yeah, you
Yeah.
should never value yourself that high up. You should hear what other people think, what other people say.
Listen.
Carl doesn't. Carl is
Mhm.
so, I'm surprised he ever solved a case because he's so close minded to anybody else's input to the point where in the book, Assad has to trick him into helping him. And
Yeah.
you
Into
remember the
taking his
point?
ideas. Yeah.
Taking his ideas, he has to say they're from Hardy, and
Right.
even then, Carl's not 100% sure they're worthy, but
Right.
it's really all of Assad making these decisions and coming up with these ideas, but he's telling him, that he's going to see Hardy, and Hardy is giving him this feedback, and even that, I feel as though, um, the betrayal of Carl, I don't know because 'cause I've only read this one book. I don't know if it gets better, like,
Yeah.
this is the beginning,
Yeah.
of a
Maybe.
character that needs a lot of development, and as the series goes on, Carl will become more likable. But, like, do you remember what I said last when we first started talking about Bridgerton, the point of a prologue? The point of a prologue is to give us insight into a character who will probably be pretty doggone unlikable most
At
of the book,
first.
if not
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
And we never get that. Like, and this is what they do really well in the series at Netflix. We see the shooting
Yeah.
and we see him get shot. It's the what I would call the prologue
Yeah.
of the series. And so we understand this guy has been devastated. He's lost his two partners, one to death, one to, incredible, horrible paralysis. And he was shot as well. And he was shot, wasn't he shot in the head, I
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Um, and even that wasn't as graphic in the book. It's almost like the writer was so busy being graphic with what was happening to
Mhm.
Merritt, that we're missing what happened to Carl. Carl's just this the fantastic detective that can run circles around everyone else.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go back to what you said about so this was one of the rare times that I've read a book after I've watched.
Mm,
Usually I read a book and then see the movie. And when you said that it fills in, the book fills in, I feel like it was the opposite for
mm,
me. The series really filled in more and developed the characters more. Like even the secretary that helps them in the series is so lovable. She's had her own trauma,
mhm,
so it's a department full of people who have dealt with trauma, from Assad, seeking asylum from Syria, to the secretary, to Carl. Like it just goes so well. Those pieces were not filled in.
Mm-mm.
He tried to give a little bit of a picture of, I can't remember, Assam, I think was his. It wasn't Assad in the.
Hassam, I think Hassam.
Yeah, in the book it was a different name, but he tries to give, like, almost like he's lying about his asylum situation and everything. And asylum situation is hard enough anyway. Why do you have to lie?
Mm-hmm.
You probably don't need to lie about it. And so I feel like that the series really was just so thorough in developing that character. And it's not okay. So when you talked about being the smartest in the room, he gives that air in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Gives that air.
Or he used to be, for sure. You get the idea that
Well,
he
even when he
certainly
goes
was.
in and he tells them how stupid they are for not knowing that there was a McDonald's sack, or go to the, like when he's telling them how to solve the shooting crime, he's trying to
Right.
help them.
His crime, the crime where he's the
His
victim.
crime. He's pretty condescending, and
Yeah.
but then you get in with the psychologist, and you get to reconcile that.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the book, he's just a jerk who thinks
Right.
he's got
And in the book,
everything. There's no reconciliation.
so true. Because remember in the book, where he goes in and is kind of crappy to the journalist. And he goes in the book, he goes and talks to the
Oh,
journalist, because remember, he's trying to get information. So then the
yes.
journalist basically then has it out for him. And so then produces two really bad stories about him. The
Yes.
first one was after he had come in. And then the second one, I think, was when he's trying to get information out of Ufa,
Yeah.
and
And he
Ufa ends
escaped.
up just like disappearing. Um,
Yes.
I feel like even then, why isn't Carl out looking for Ufa? I mean, he's the
Right.
reason in the book. Like, he's the reason this kid has left. Um, and the other thing too is, like, in the series or in the Netflix version, he's dealing with anger issues. And because, like you said, because we get to see him in those sessions, we
Yes.
understand that he has really got some anger management
Yeah.
issues,
Yes.
and he has not dealt with them at all. So when he goes off
Mm-hmm.
on the people in the street and the journalist who are, he's having to give I think in the series, he has to give a briefing. Wasn't it a briefing
Mm.
to the media?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just absolutely goes batshit crazy, for want
Yeah.
of a better word.
Right.
We understand that because he's been shot, he's lost, he's out of control.
Right.
He's out of control in his personal life. He's out of control in his professional life. And the personal life, by the way, isn't a woman. It's his living scenario. He's been given, charge of this basically adult kid. He's still in high school or
Yeah.
whatever they call it in England.
Secondary.
He's in secondary school. Yeah. And he's just out. He doesn't know, he's out of his depth. His roommate is very wise. He's not this weirdo that the book
Yeah.
makes him out to
Yeah.
be. His roommate ends up being, I know it's just kind of like a tenant roommate, but ends up becoming a wise sounding board. And I feel as though the book just makes him kind of this weirdo who is paying rent. Like, Carl just has in the book no use for anyone on the planet.
Right.
They,
And
even Hardy.
there's no connections.
Yeah,
There's
no
no
relationship
connections.
at all.
Yeah.
And again, the question is, was it laziness on the author? Is this, and to be fair, you and I tend to read more female-centric books in terms of books written by women. Not always,
Yeah.
because we're going to be reading some other books that aren't, but books that really develop relationship.
Right.
Regardless. And I don't know, is it a male thing that these books, these characters don't
That it's just the facts, ma'am. It's just the
Yes,
facts,
it's
you
police
know?
procedural. We just want the
Yeah.
procedures. We don't care who he is. We just want him to solve the crime.
Mhm.
Um,
And
but
the script is a collaboration.
and
Um,
that was what that was going to be. Yes,
a
yes.
male and female. And so
Hmm.
like they made the sergeant or the head of the department is female.
Hmm.
The head of the home um, where the
Upa.
brother
Yeah, yeah,
is female, and there's a whole nother web of story there, not in the book at all.
mm-mm.
Not in the book at all. That where they're taking the money and they're you know, and so and he figures that crime out. And then there's a whole nother crime with this the guy that she had tried to she had tried to get him off because they're trying to lead you into possible what who could be responsible for this
These
kidnapping.
red herrings, right? And then the
Yes,
guy
and the
who
red
ends
herrings though are so deep.
right, right.
They're very thought out, and they're very, so I don't know if it's a combination of this collaboration where you get a lot of facts, but you also get a lot of the stories and a lot of the relationship in there. So
Yeah,
I think the collaboration's good.
100%. And I do have a friend, a dear friend, who writes police procedurals,
Mhm.
and I'm constantly, and I've critiqued her pages, she critiques mine, and
Huh,
I'm constantly telling her, but why? The big word, why is he acting like this in this scene? Why is she acting like this in this scene?
right.
Why, and we don't get a lot of why with Carl. And so then, and when we get to the last word, I'm going to discuss the difference between male and female writers.
Yeah,
But again, All the Light We Cannot See, that book was all about relationship, and that was written by a man,
male. Yeah, so you never know.
but it took him 10 years.
Right.
So was that part of him having to dig deeper and deeper and deeper?
Yeah.
How much of that was editing? Did he just have an amazing editor that kept going?
We need to
Because
know what. Yeah.
yeah, because let me tell you, sometimes revisions are, you turn in a book and you think, okay, I'm done. That's the easy part, is writing
Yeah.
the book. Then
Yeah.
sometimes you can have a round of revisions, once, twice, three times, where your editor is saying, I don't know, we need to make this stronger. We need to do this. We need to
Right.
change this.
Right.
Sometimes the book ends up completely different. Then you get copy editors involved who come in. So this is after, okay, now full manuscript has been accepted by your editor, who's really more like a content developmental editor. Then the copy editors get involved, and they're
Mm,
looking through and they're making sure, well, there's no connection here, or this date changed here and here, or wasn't he concerned about Ufa or Luther? Why don't we see any of that later on?
yeah.
Can you at least add a sentence where we understand why he's not out looking for Luther? And then you get all through that, and then you get the proofreaders. So
Right.
now you're looking at, typos and all of that. That's the very last piece. So we won't ever know what kind of editing this book had
Well, and
versus
it's
what
a
kind,
different country. I mean, do
and a
different
different time. Well, no, that's
have
not a
different
different time.
editors? I mean, do different publishing different
Mhm.
countries just do things differently than how it works here in the States? I don't know.
Again, maybe in Denmark, whoever
Yeah.
his publisher was, maybe they've got kind of, and this is, I don't want to go there, but I'm gonna, maybe they have kind of a rule where you don't edit a male as hard as you edit a woman.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, should we we're kind of running out of time here.
All
Should
right,
we
so
put a
let's see this. Let's talk
Booker
about this or that. Hold on.
Booker screen? Oh, this is a great one. I love it.
Yeah, which is best, this
Oh,
or
well,
that?
screen. Screen
Yeah.
100% for me. There's no doubt. Um, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even recommend reading the book.
Oh,
Like All the Light We Cannot See. I was like, read the book,
read the book. Read the book.
watch it both. It's great. Bridgerton, read the books, watch them both. It's great. I think watching the series, reading the book just diminished it for me. And so
Oh,
I would
interesting. Yeah,
say,
I would agree.
screen. Yeah.
I mean, this is a time we talked earlier about we could disagree. and oftentimes we do, with, especially with the this or that, the page or
Mhm.
screen, the movie or the book. I would have to say I slogged through the book, and um, which kind of leads me to the last word.
Okay.
Um, let's talk about the last word here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about the
It's
last
your
word.
turn.
My
So,
turn.
yes.
And I want to talk about, I kind of touched on it at the end of our discussion, is the difference between male and female authors. I feel as though women really dig into relationship. It doesn't
Mhm.
mean plot isn't important. Plot is, think of it as the spine of a person. And the spine, the skeleton of
Yeah.
the story is the
Yeah.
plot, the skeleton. Then you start layering in the muscle and the tendons and the tissues and the skin and the hair, and you start layering in all that. I feel as though women layer in character and relationship versus men who, they just want the facts, man.
Yeah.
And I was very disappointed in how this gentleman addressed a lot of that. I would love if anyone, if our readers get to the end, or our listeners get to the end of this podcast, send us DM messages, send us, comments on whether or not you don't agree, that you
Yeah.
enjoy a good police procedural that doesn't
Yeah.
have all that relationship stuff, doesn't have, people caring about other
Yeah.
people, and they just want a hardcore, just the facts, man. They want, no Columbo. They want a hardcore, police procedural.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but for me, give me a female author over a male author any day,
Yeah.
because even except, always exceptions, all the light we cannot see,
Yeah. Understood.
100% hit the mark on
Yeah.
every level, plot,
And we don't know what
character.
his collaboration and his editors did, right? Right. Like we don't have the insight on that. It might have been, like you said, 10 years, it might have been
A
some,
lot of revisions.
yeah. But
Hmm.
and he might
Yep.
just be one that's in touch, with his female, side, and
He could be a
really,
parent.
yeah. So who
You know,
knows?
who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe making a blind character created a relationship that you had to build a
Yeah.
relationship, because you can't have a blind person growing up without a lot of care and
Yeah.
nurturing.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we are. So let's talk about next week. What are we going to be talking
Okay.
about?
Oh my gosh. So we're going to lighten the load a bit.
Woo-hoo.
We're going to lighten things up. We're going to go with one of it's a cult favorite, The Princess Bride. Did
Oh,
not know it was a book. I've already started a bit. I'm telling you, it is so fun.
it is
It's
precious.
it's precious.
It is so
And
good.
it's gonna not be this, it's not a deep one like this one. I mean, like, a crime, a thriller, a crime solver. So we're gonna have fun, fun, fun next time. So I'm
And it's
excited
a
about
movie. So,
it.
for all
Yeah,
of our listeners and viewers, take the time. It's a shorter book. Take
it's
the
on
time
Disney
to read.
Plus.
Watch the Princess Bride. I
Yep.
even have As You Wish. It's Carrie Elways who plays the farm boy, Wesley. His It's all about the making from his point of view of the movie.
Cool.
So
Cool.
it's maybe 5 hours of audio. It's really worth it. So, and finally, let's join us. But remember to like,
Right.
share, subscribe, punch that red button down
Oh,
there.
listen, whatever, share. Yeah, all of the things that all the things that you do those so that we can keep doing this. And well, we're gonna keep doing it because this is a
It's fun
blast.
for us.
Love doing this. So I loved this, and I cannot wait till the next one that we can see each
Yay.
other. So
Yeah. So we'll see you next in 2 weeks. We'll see
all right,
you.
all right, bye.
Bye.